Okay, so should I be held accountable for students' test scores? Ones and twos are going to be on that side of the room. So if you're a 1 or a 2, you're over here. 1's at this table, 2's at that table. 3's here and 4's over there. Yep, 1's, 2's, 3's, 4's. So I engaged you in a brief Kahoot to get you thinking about teacher evaluations. And one's here. Who else is a 1? There we go. Okay, very good. Carlton, tell me one thing that you think is included on a teacher evaluation in Tennessee.
Classroom management style.
Okay, so how you manage your classroom. Grant, what's another thing that you can think of that might be on a teacher evaluation?
Maybe assessments, like what kind
Assessing
teacher assessment.
teachers assessing students. Okay, so how well students do on teacher-made assessments. Okay. What about another one, Nicole?
Standards and objectives, ICAM statements, learning targets.
So if you're engaging students in those learning targets, is that what you mean?
Yeah, like if you have to have them like displayed and then you have to relate your lesson to it.
Okay, so having them displayed and relating your lesson. Molly, can you think of something else? Okay, it's okay to say that you can't think of anything else. Madison, can you think of anything else? Lesson planning. All right, what about you, Becca? Can you think of anything? Anybody have something else they want to add? Bailey, have you got one you can think of, or Taylor?
Quality of your communication. I don't remember how it's worded.
How well you communicate, effectively you communicate? Jacob?
Did someone say grouping?
Nope, no one said grouping. Okay. Most everything that you've mentioned can be found on which document? On the team rubric. And that comes from what? When would that be used on you?
Yeah, like 2 times a semester.
Okay, so you're calling it an evaluation. There's another word for it. When the principal comes into your room, what does that principal do? Your observation. So observation is one part of being evaluated. Are there other parts of the evaluation?
Test scores. Student test scores.
Student test scores.
Student test scores.
Test scores, right? There are other things as well, so we're going to get to that. So we're going to listen to this video, watch this video about teachers talking about evaluation. So I want you to be focusing on this, during this video, what teachers, they're starting off talking one way and then they sort of end talking a different way about evaluation. So I want you to pay attention to that. Except it just ended, so let's rewind it. Oh, thanks, I love it. Does that sound okay?
Currently, teachers are evaluated upon one basic observation or snapshot of their work.
Our evaluation system consists of a principal coming into your room and answering questions based upon what he or she sees.
It is basically the opinion of one person, which is the principal of the building, and that one person has complete and total power over the rating.
Teachers are not involved, or at least I've never been involved in that process. I think that teachers should have a voice in what the criteria is and how it should be set up and what things would help them be better teachers.
Teaching is complex. Test scores show an important facet, but just one of what happens in the classroom. And certainly how students perceive the teacher also is but one facet, etc. So the more measures are used in the final evaluation, I think the more realistic it is in capturing what the teacher does well and what the teacher can improve on.
If we had a system where there was a roadmap, which was objective and clearly articulated, then teachers, I think, would feel comfortable because they would see that that same roadmap is being applied to everyone, and hence that would make it fair.
our job has many hats. When you evaluate a teacher's performance and what they're doing, their effectiveness, I mean, you have to look at it in many different ways.
As teachers, you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning. An effective evaluation system would be showing us what we want, not just saying you either do it or you don't do it. What goal are you going to work on? What's your next focus to the next year?
And we all know, those of us that have been in the business world, that 5 heads are better than 1. That's always true. And so this is a way that people can produce a better product, which is a better lesson plan, a better environment for learning, a better environment to get students excited about their education and about knowledge.
In the end, the multiple measures allows the teacher to better trust the evaluation results, in the sense that they know that it wasn't from any one moment, it wasn't from any one person's perspective, but it's sort of a three-dimensional way of looking at the teacher's classroom.
Just like businesses change their models every year or every few years just to continue to stay competitive, in education we need to do the same thing. We need to continuously evaluate the way that we evaluate teachers. We need to continuously evaluate teaching and learning just to make sure that we're continuously meeting our students' needs.
This is going to give teachers a roadmap to guide them to do a better job. They're going to get coached by people that are good, that objectively have proven that they're good. And guess what? They get the knowledge that they've helped more children learn.
What's something that you noticed about the message over time in that video? What were their comments in the beginning about?
It's just one person.
One person?
Opinion.
One person's opinion? How did it change over time? Then what did they talk about?
Well, they can come together to come up with their way they're all done.
So multiple people coming together to come up with a way to be evaluated?
Well, and I think, I don't know, I could have misunderstood, but it seemed that it was talking about teachers evaluating teachers, so people can be, it's people from the classroom, that people who are more in touch with the classroom style and not so detached from it.
And that is happening in some areas, so really people that are ingrained in what's going on and understand from a teacher's perspective.
It's the change from being like, well, there's one person ruling your entire fate to, well, there's a group of people telling you how to be a better teacher.
Okay, so it involves more than one person, but it also involves this little phrase that they said multiple, what? Measures, multiple measures. So it's not just based on a snapshot. Principal comes in, says, yeah, doing a great job. Nope, that sucks. You know, it was not just one snapshot, but it's multiple measures that make up your teacher evaluation. And so what we're going to do is talk about a little history and context as it relates to Tennessee. How many of you have heard of Race to the Top? So that was a federal initiative to improve education in the United States. And in 2009, when President Obama was in office, we became part of the Race to the Top initiative. And the point of this was to spur and to reward innovations in education. But it came with some criteria, things that had to be done. And one of those was a performance-based evaluation for teachers and administrators. So performance-based. It also had to, the states had to adopt standards, like national standards, like Common Core. Of course, in Tennessee, parents really rebelled against that for various reasons, which we're not going to debate today. But they changed the name to TenCore, and it's okay now. Also, adopting policies that do not prohibit high-quality charter schools from coming in. That was another aspect. Turning around low-performing schools and building and using data systems. So a way to track student data and a way to use it so that you could improve, inform your instruction and improve outcomes. So all of these components were tied to this 2009 Race to the Top. So it was an initiative, and not everyone got it, not even all states chose to participate. Tennessee did, and we were awarded $500 million to improve education in the state of Tennessee. So what do? So in 2011 and 12, the Tennessee Department of Education implemented a multiple measure student outcomes-based educator evaluation system. So using the team, anybody know what team stands for?
Teacher evaluation.
Tennessee Educator Acceleration Model. And it was based on research, and it was put together by a team of people. So we adopted the team model and also the Tennessee Value Added Assessment System. In fact, Tennessee pioneered this. Robert Sanders out of the University of Tennessee. That stands, TVAS stands for Tennessee Value Added Assessment System. And this measures growth. It's just not like scores, but how much did the student improve the year they were in your classroom? So how much growth did they have? So Tennessee put together this huge package that says this is what we're going to do to meet these criteria, among other things, but as it related to teacher evaluation. And so we got the money and we implemented it in 2011. Well, then we changed, we went to Common Core, 10 Core, and we had this new test. And a lot of money was put into training teachers and administrators on this new 10 Ready test. Well, they felt like it was not going to be fair to just substitute that test for what was given previously, because it takes students and teachers time to kind of evolve and adapt to that. So this Tennessee Teaching Evaluation Enforcement Act of 2015 was passed by the legislature that says, okay, we're going to phase this thing in. And so that's next slide. You've got a handout on your table there. It doesn't have the colors because I don't have a color printer. It should be a bigger one. It should be, I'll give you one. It looks just like this, and if you look at it, look at the on the screen there, the gray portion. You see how the dark gray portion increases over time? So that's the 10 Ready. The blue says qualitative. Do you think you have an idea what that might mean? What it's referring to, qualitative? Quantitative deals with numbers, how much. Qualitative deals with quality. And how are you going to measure like quality of teaching, do you think?
Using the team rubric.
Using team rubric during observations, all right? And so then here we've got TCAP or 10 Ready if applicable. So it was in that phase in. Some were still doing TCAP or 10 Ready. And then and some subjects are tested, so they have certain percentages that are attached. So then this is where we are here in this school year. This is where we'll be next school year. So a full 35% phased in. This is a general outlook. That doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be for PE or for art. We're going to get to that a little bit later. Okay, so in this debate, the resolution, it has been resolved that Tennessee teachers' evaluation scores should be based on student achievement. All right? Your learning targets are here, and they're also on your table. You're going to be able to identify at least 2 measures, and there's more than 2, because they must have taken those 2. Are 2 measures that are used to evaluate teachers in Tennessee. You're also going to be looking at least 2 impacts on teachers and 2 impacts on students today. So that's our learning targets. You've got those in front of you so we can remember what our goal is. Now here's our debate format. Over here, this is the affirmative. The affirmative folks agree with the resolution that yes, test scores should be included. And you guys here, the ones are going to be looking at the effects on teachers. The positive effects that yes, this is important, this is valuable for teachers. Yes, this is valuable for students. Okay? Over here, you guys are the negative. So no, this is not good for teachers, and this is why. No, this is not good for students, and this is why. All right? So you'll see the resolution is also on your rubric. If you flip over to, the rubric's on the back of learning targets, I think. So we're going to look at that rubric here in just a second. But just to sort of hone it in, focus that affirmative, you guys over there, this must keep going, and here's why. So if you're building an argument based on information, you guys over here, the negative, no, this must stop now, and this is why. So here we go, prove and attack. Here is your rubric. It's the same on both sides. So basically the affirmative, how effective are your arguments based on teacher impact and student impact? And are you using specific data? Are you citing data? And are you behaving well? We'll talk about behavior expectations in a minute. Over here, the negative side, how effective are your arguments that it's negative for teachers and that it's negative for students? And are you using specific examples from the text in your team behavior? Okay, so you've got your rubric in front of you. So I'm going to give you some prep time. So teachers, affirmative, students, affirmative. Teachers, negative, students, negative. You have documents on your table, and I've got some extras. I didn't, like if you want more than one copy, you might want to divide and conquer. This is a lot of material. Ideally, in your own classroom, you would provide some materials in advance to your students so they could come in prepared. You're going to have to be perusing the information, but looking specifically for how does this impact teachers? How does this impact students? Whatever your target area is. Building arguments and expectations, I think I'll wait and talk with you about in a moment. So before we get started, I'm going to give you 15 minutes to begin your research and writing down your arguments. This, if you would like something to write on, this is blank on the back. So feel free if you would like. And if you need more of those, I have more. Set, go.
So